Welcome to another episode of Britain, Poland, and I finally bring you Szczecin. I've been meaning to actually make this video for a while, but I've had to go back and forth. But Szczecin is definitely a place worth visiting. It's the capital of Western Pomerania. It has a very long and very mixed history. It's full of really cool sites, and it's a fully functioning, proper big city with 1,000,001 things to do. So by the end of this video, you should know the history pretty well, and you should have a good idea of the sites. So I hope you enjoy, and I really do recommend it.
Dzień dobry and welcome to A Britain, Poland. With this channel, I travel across the country, I bring you the culture, and I show you just how amazing Poland is. So I invite you on my journey. If you want to see more, I have Facebook and Instagram profiles, which you will find links to in the description below. And if you want to really help out, you can turn to my Patreon or Patronite accounts, again in the description. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoy this video. Please like, share and subscribe. Do zobaczenia.
So you will find Szczecin in Poland's northwest corner, and it's very close to the German border. And it's about 65 kilometers away from the Baltic Sea. It's Poland's 7th largest city by population and the 3rd by size. And it's actually over 300 square kilometers, which includes a lot of river, portland and parkland. And it feels like a big city when you're there. There are wide streets, trams hurtling through the squares, nice skyline. And what I found is the people were warm, the evenings were lively, and it had that perfect mix of kind of student energy and riverside calm. And there's a local joke that sums up Szczecin perfectly. Przepraszam, którędy nad morze, or excuse me, which way to the sea? And if the locals are playing on, they should tell you tram number 10. It's the one that doesn't get you there. And because here, the sea is more of an idea than a destination. You can sense it in the air, hear it in the shipyard cranes, but it always stays just out of reach. And the riverside, well, that's where Szczecin really shines. You get a lot of locals spilling out onto the embankments, plenty of drinks on hand, a few beach bars, lights glimmering in the water. It's got that perfect mix, an urban energy with a touch of seaside calm. And maybe that's what gives Szczecin its charm, a city forever stretching towards something just beyond the horizon. Even its streets seem to chase perfection. It's actually modelled after Paris, with built-in sweeping circles and elegant symmetry. Though, of course, with a little bit more Polish chaos. Now we move on to the history, and Szczecin's history is a pretty rich one. And long before it was Szczecin, the place was a fortress, a Slavic stronghold perched above the Odra. And by the 9th century, it had already become a thriving trading post for Pomeranian tribes, its wooden ramparts guarding merchants and fishermen who lived by the river's rhythm. In the 10th century, Poland's first ruler, Mieszko I, extended his young kingdom north and claimed Szczecin as part of his realm. It was one of Poland's earliest footholds on the sea, though that tide would soon turn. Because after Mieszko's death, the region broke away. The Duchy of Pomerania emerged under local Slavic dukes, independent, ambitious, and often caught between stronger neighbours, i.e. Poland, Denmark, and the German states. And 1124, the missionary Otto of Bamberg brought Christianity here, transforming the pagan fortress into a Christian town of stone and song. By the 13th century, Szczecin had joined the Hanseatic League, trading from the Baltic Sea to the North Sea. Its merchants built the old town hall, a Gothic gem that still stands on the market square, a survivor from a world lit by candlelight and the clang of hammers on ships' hulls. As the city prospered, new rulers left their mark, and in the 14th century the Pomeranian Dukes Castle rose above the skyline. Rebuilt burned, rebuilt again, always watching over the city like a patient guardian. And the centuries rolled on. Wars came and went, the Swedish, Prussian, Napoleonic, each rewriting the map. And under Prussian rule, Szczecin, or Stettin, as it was called at the time, grew into a proud industrial port. The Red Town Hall, built in the late 19th century, embodied that era's confidence, grand, ornate, and unmistakably German. By then, Stettin had become a city of boulevards and symmetry, its plan inspired by Paris, with avenues radiating out from circular squares, a city of order and ambition. Then came the 20th century, and with it destruction. Allied bombings reduced much of Stettin to rubble, and when the war ended, the borders shifted, and the city, scarred but standing, became Szczecin, Polish once more after centuries of tug and war. The Germans left, and the Polish arrived, many coming from Lviv, carrying their own stories and memories. They rebuilt what they could and redefined what it meant to call this place home. And in the communist years that followed, the shipyards became the city's lifeblood again. And in the 1980s, they became something more, the birthplace of hope. Szczecin's shipyard workers joined the Solidarity movement, helping ignite the changes that would reshape all of Poland. And then a third town hall appeared, modern, clean-lined, and defiantly functionalist. Together, the three buildings, medieval, red brick, and modern, trace nearly a millennium of Szczecin's story in stone. And today, the city stands as a survivor, from fortress to free port, from Stettin to Szczecin, rebuilt, reborn, and proud of every layer that makes it whole. Right, so now that you know a little bit about the city, let's go into what's worth seeing. So we can start at the castle, or Zamek Książąt Pomorskich, which was originally a Slavic stronghold, transformed into the stone castle in the 14th century by Duke Barnim III, as well as building the stone house. He also added St. Otto's Chapel. And there would be further reconstructions over the years, transforming it into a kind of Renaissance Mannerist style, then to a Gothic / Pomeranian Mannerist style. It would be heavily destroyed during the war and would be rebuilt between 1958 and 1980. But it's worth a visit, especially to go into the museum and to check out the viewing tower. It's definitely a strong landmark of the city. Next, we go along the river, and there's this place called Wałęsa, which is the city's balcony. And this was built in the 1900s, back in the Stettin days. And it's kind of a rotunda terrace, and it's basically a kind of a cool building, but also like a viewpoint where you can watch the ships, look at the cranes, the island of Lastuvnia, where old warehouses have been reborn into restaurants and lights. And there, I believe there's a rotunda cafe hidden around. And next we have Plac Solidarności, and so this is celebrating the solidarity movement. There's a monument honours the workers who were killed during the protests of December 1970, and their courage helped spark the solidarity movement, and which changed Poland forever. Besides the square, you have the Philharmonic Hall, which opened in 2014. And this is a stunning white spire of light and music. Its design echoes Gothic peaks and icy sails, yet feels distinctly modern. By day it gleams, by night it glows, like a frozen symphony. And yeah, it's a pretty distinctive building. Next, you have the bunkers, and this is right by the train station. And it is definitely another key site. It's some of the largest bunkers you can visit in Poland, not the largest, that will come in another video. But so this was built during World War II, expanded in the Cold War, and it was designed to protect thousands of people from the bombing raids and actually from nuclear fallout. The walls still echo with stories. You have ration cards, gas masks, names scrawled in chalk. It's a reminder that even beneath today's calm streets, the scars of the 20th century still breathe. It's also a pretty good history lesson. You learn about, kind of some of the modern wars, but also you get a nice little kind of inkling into some of the, let's say, the post-war culture. And, of course, you get to see a bit about the destruction of the city. Now we have the largest cemetery in Poland, and I think the third largest in Europe. So Cmentarz Centralny, or the City of Silence. And yeah, basically, I mean, few cities can claim a cemetery as beautiful as Cmentarz Centralny. Opened in 1901. It's basically a vast park of stones and trees. It was designed by a German architect, Wilhelm Meyer Schwartau, and it feels like a kind of forest cathedral. There are sculptures, ponds, winding paths, and actually over 300,000 people are buried here. Polish people, Germans, soldiers, civilians, all part of the same story now. And of course you have many different monuments to various tragedies or incidents. It is a little bit away from the centre, but as you can see here, there's a tram you can catch. So we're going to go on to some of the notable churches. So we're going to start with the Cathedral Basilica of St. James, which was founded in the 12th century by the very people Otto of Bamberg once converted. Its Gothic tower, now 110 metres high, was rebuilt multiple times after lightning strikes, wars and bombings. And you can climb to the top and you'll see all of Szczecin spread below you. So, yeah, this one is definitely worth it. It's a very old church. I mean, this is a kind of as old as things get in Szczecin. I mean, going back to the 12th century is pretty impressive. And as you can see on the interior, it's a nice looking church, as you would expect in Poland, really. And the view, I think it's quite cheap. And I think even there may have been a lift. Okay, so you then have the Church of St. Peter and Paul, and this is, again, very old. This one dates back to the 13th century. It's a quiet place, filled with warm light. Again, it's right next to the Solidarność Square. In the centre, you have the Sacred Heart Church. I couldn't get inside this one when I tried, but maybe I just went on the wrong day. This one is a bit more modern. It's going back to the 1900s. This one, I don't think it's strictly a church, but it's kind of a religious tower. This is like a kind of Orthodox church. So, yeah, Szczecin has quite a few churches of note. We're now going to show you the museums, but I'm not going to spend too long on this because you saw most of the museum footage during the history. But it's worth noting that there are actually like 4 national museums in Szczecin. It's one of the reasons that you have a kind of a mixture of old and new footage, because the first time I came to this city, I wasn't able to get into many of the museums because it was like holiday season, and I was waiting. But every museum has its own charm, its own story. You have the old town where the first town hall is, and that contains one of the national museums as well. And the old town is also a lovely place to just walk around, go for some lunch, grab a drink. You know, it's kind of beautiful, scenic, quiet. Never seen it like overly packed with tourists while I've been there. But certainly it's a nice place to chill. I think it's the first place I went to in Szczecin. And yeah, as I say, each museum has a slightly different purpose. You have one which is more maritime, which is by the river. This is more kind of history focused. You have one which is more archaeological focused. You have one which is more art focused. I think there's even one about communications or something like that under the Solidarity Square. So yeah, a lot of museums. But each one is different, and you'll learn a different aspect of the city by going to it. So if you like history, it's definitely worth checking out. And actually, a lot of the displays are pretty well orientated. I think a lot of it was in English as well. In the kind of north of the city, you have the Transport Museum. So you have a few of these dotted around Poland. There's a very noticeable one in Warsaw. But in here, you get a real kind of sense of some of the technology that was used in Poland, some of the developments that were made. Primarily, you're looking at the vehicles that were used, especially post-war. So a lot of trams, cars, bikes. You know, it's a nice little interactive thing where actually you can wander through most of the trams, probably sit in a few of the cars. And they had a cool exhibit downstairs with a series of dolls' houses, which were inspired by different parts of Poland. A lot of them, yeah, actually, they were from all over the country. So you had like Zalepia, you had Twisted Forest, all these different things, which it was a nice little surprise. And yeah, I don't know if it was a temporary exhibit, but it was, my mum will certainly appreciate that one. So then you have Jana Pawła, which is, let's say, the kind of lifeblood of the city. And I think they call it like the Green Lung or Green Heart, sorry. And it's, you know, a place for walks, that maybe some concerts here. It's a pretty long stretch where you get, you know, a lot of monuments, some nice buildings, trees. You know, it's a very chill place. We did have a slight encounter with a rather angry angry person. We'll leave it at that. And then it takes you up to the town hall. This is the current town hall, the newest one. And you have the fountains, and it's pretty cool. And we're entering a park, which is Plac Jasna Błonia, so bright meadows. And then we go on to Kasprowicz Park to the north, which was built around 1925 to 1927. Originally named Quistrup Meadow, after Martin Christorp, who donated land. You have the monument here, which is impressive. You have the monument of the Pope. And I mean, this is definitely like the greenest part of the main city. It's lovely to walk around. So there are nice, let's say, lakes or ponds, which you can, I don't think you can go swimming, but you can certainly sit by and relax. It was a very tranquil place, and you really felt, quite, let's say, disconnected from the main city. And there was this cool amphitheatre there. At the time I was there, it was under construction. It's probably been finished by now. And a bit beyond that park, there is the Różanka, or the Rose Garden. And this actually dates back to 1928. And so originally it was part of the broader kind of botanicals park plan of Szczecin. And it was created in conjunction with efforts to augment the city's green spaces. Coming back to the centre, you have the kind of Sky Tower. There's a nice or Sky Cafe. I'm not sure what it's called, but Sky Bar. Anyway, there's a Sky Place. You go in a lift. You can get cocktails. You can get desserts, and you get a nice view of the city. Well worth it. Of course, a little bit expensive once you get up there, but I think it's free to go up there from what I remember. And yeah, you have, this stuff sort of thing in Wrocław, Gdansk, Warsaw. It's kind of typical, but it is really the best view you'll get of the city. So next we're going to go again a bit outside of the city to a place called Bismarck Tower. So I think we got a tram. I can't remember which tram, but this is quite north of the city. So we got a tram up there, had a bit of a trek through the forest, and we got to this place. The tower itself was built in 1921 to honour, the German Chancellor, Bismarck. And after the war it fell into neglect, but locals restored it as part of their own story. And I think it has a cafe or something now. It was closed when we were there. Anyway, but we're getting quite near the end of the video now, but I had so much extra footage I didn't want to go to waste, so I thought I'd spend the last bit of the video sharing that and telling you a few more stories. So this is at one of the malls, I think the one close to the Sky Cafe. That was pretty cool. You get a lot of nice buildings in Szczecin. The architecture is pretty impressive, both the old and some of the new. We're going to go through some random facts that might be interesting to you. So apparently the castle has a witch's cell, so a chamber associated with legends of witch trials or imprisonments, which is a darker corner offering a spooky contrast to the grandeur above. Apparently the city is the birthplace of Catherine the Great. It's a bit of a controversial claim. It says the daughter of a Prussian garrison commander who was born in the castle, Sophie Friedrich August, later became Catherine II of Russia. Some sources place her birth partially in Szczecin or the castle's orbit, though it's a bit sceptical. You have the symbol of the griffin everywhere. The mythical creature, lion/eagle, became the dynasty's emblem and is everywhere in Szczecin, on facades, fountains, water pumps. It's more than decoration, it's the city's brand, basically. Under Duke Philip II, the great map of the Duchy of Pomerania was created, which is on display in the castle. Once Szczecin built some of the fastest, grandest passenger liners, and now many shipyard cranes stand idle, giving a kind of melancholic sense of lost industrial vigour. Winston Churchill famously used Szczecin in his 1946 Iron Curtain speech, from Szczecin in the Baltic to Trieste in the Adriatic, making the city a symbolic edge of the kind of east-west division. And local food fact, you have pasteszczyk, Szczeciński. My pronunciation is terrible since I came back to the UK. It's a fried yeast dough with filling, which is kind of iconic. But you also have paprikage Szczeciński. Oh god, sorry, I'm recording this quite late. Which is a fish paste sandwich spread. So you have these two famous things. But anyway, we're getting to the end of the video, so I hope you enjoyed my little view of Szczecin. It's a lovely place, I really recommend. Please give the video a like, give me a subscribe, and do zobaczenia.